Hi, this is Uncle Ed. Appreciate everybody being here. Um, I was thinking, how do I get ahead? Everybody wants that. How do I get ahead? I don't care if you're an employee, you're a boss, you're a contractor. How do I get ahead? I'm going to tell you a story. And if you know Uncle Ed, I'm full of stories. I hitchhiked, as you know, into town with $34 in a backpack, pretty homeless. And one of my first jobs was a construction site. We were renovating an old apartment complex, wasn't very big. And a guy that I met got me a job. And the job I had was knocking down a cinder block wall. So I had three tools. I had a wheelbarrow, a shovel, and a broom. And every morning at 8 o'clock, my morning would start, and I would knock down parts of this wall, put it in the shovel, throw it in the wheelbarrow, roll the wheelbarrow into the dumpster, and toss the rubble in. And go back and do it day after day, day after day. Now, I want to tell you about this job. First thing, I was delighted to have this job, simply because it was a job. The other part was, since I was practically homeless, well, I was homeless, I had no home, I was able to sleep in the apartments at night. And I had a shower, I had a stove, and funny thing was, I was always the first one at work every day, and the boss goes, you know, Ed, you're always, every day, no matter who comes in, you're always the first one here. The guy didn't know I was living there. So anyway, I had this job, and I made friends with other guys, and they had a lot of them were like carpenters and stuff, carpenter helpers, and they had the toolbox with a tape measure and a hammer, and they had skill saws, and they had nails, all kinds of shit. I had nothing. I had a wheelbarrow and a shovel and a broom, and that wasn't even mine. Well, I did this for about 3 months. I knocked down the whole wall, they put up a new wall, the job was over. And the head guy comes up to me, the head carpenter, in charge of the whole project and the carpenter, and goes, Ed, what are you going to do after this? I said, I don't know. I was really worrying about where I was going to live. Well, that's kind of not true, because I was lining up some stuff and made some friends with some guys on the construction site, and I was going to start crashing at their place, renting, helping with the rent. But it was an option that was going through my head. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. I got a couple of $100 in my pocket saved up. I was doing quite well, maybe even more, actually. He said, I'd like you to be my helper. I said, me? What do I know? I mean, come on, I had a wheelbarrow. All my friends had the toolboxes and the bag and the belt with all the shit. He goes, no, Ed, I admired your work ethic. He said, you were the best worker here. I said, how can you say that? He said, because you had the worst job. He said, everybody else had a job, and I watched them, and a lot of them talked, and they BS, but you just knocked down this wall, excuse me, every day, same shitty job. He thought it was a shitty job. I was freaking delighted. I didn't have a boss. I had no one to harass me. I could smoke a joint every once in a while and just knock down this freaking wall. And I tell you, work ethic. My father taught me, if I was following a circus with a wheelbarrow and a shovel, back to the wheelbarrow and shovel, and I was picking up horse shit, well, even worse, if I was picking up elephant shit behind the circus, but I did it with enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm, I think, is either Latin or Greek. It goes with God. Now, we'll just leave it with that. But anyway, if you do it with enthusiasm, you might see someone in that crowd that might look at you and go, look at this schmagag. Look at this guy. He's picking up elephant shit, and he's doing a really good job, and he seems to be enjoying his work. Why am I enjoying my work? It's a freaking job, man. Job feeds me. I got responsibility. I was always helping my mother, too. So a job was it's like, I don't know, being a farmer. There was no difference. And what the moral of the story is, if I want to get ahead, I have to work hard. And one way to get ahead, if you're working for someone, or you're a boss and you're working for, let's say, you've got a contract forever, you do more than expected of you. What does that mean? So let's say, I don't care if you're working at a Kroger or an IT company, whatever your boss is doing, you try to help make his job easier. Whatever it is, you make the person above you jobs easier. And you create you create an environment that you're the guy. I don't care what it is. If you know your boss is walking by, you don't get up and go, "Hey, how you doing?" You go, "Hey, boss," and you keep your head down and working. I had a job trimming trees. The next job, I had another job after that deal worked out, played it out, or whatever you want to call it. I used to climb trees for a living. Talking about climbing up pine trees with a rope and a chainsaw. And the head guy used to come by, the supervisor, and when he come by, I wouldn't stop and work. I just kept working. He gave me a promotion in like a month. He said, "You're a foreman." I go, "Why?" He says, "You're the only guy that I go by and doesn't stop and talk." And he said, you don't give a shit if I show up or not. You're busy trying to get the job done." And I admire that work ethic. So it's about work ethic too. So if I have a customer and I'm going to be designing a website, which I don't do, and I can make it better than what they paid me for by adding a little sugar to it, I do it. If I'm detailing a guy's car, I don't care, whatever it is, you give that extra 10%. If you're working for someone, you give that extra 10%. You're not the first one out the door. There's a young man that I'm coaching, and he got a job, and he's a headhunter, he's a recruiter. And I told him, I said, "I want you the first one in, I want you the last one out." And he's doing that. He wound up getting a promotion. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to take too much time on this thing here. But do more than expected and good things happen.